Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Drury. I'm the president and owner of the Valley Blue Sox. We are humbled once again to present to you the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame induction. This is our 11th inaugural class. We're very excited. We have an amazing class to present to you all tonight. But before we get started, I just want to make a few acknowledgments. First, to our great partners at Westfield Bank who are here tonight for your continued support of this event. Thank you very much. We couldn't do it without you. And then I'd like to acknowledge our Hall of Fame committee. So if I say your name and you're here tonight, if you wouldn't mind standing up. Bill Bathel, Mark DeFranco, Jim Hagan, Mike Tromley, Rich Bedard, Steve McKelvey, Christopher Wyant, Fred Ciaglo, Dan Genovese, Brandon Seymour, Frank Wyant. Thank you. If we have any other past inductees to the Hall of Fame who are with us tonight, if you wouldn't mind, please stand for a round of applause as well, please. Past inductees, I see Steve Athis is out there, Pat's here, Mark's here. Thank you. And then just a special shout out to two members of the committee. First is first-year general manager of the Valley Blue Sox, Brandon Seymour, who helped put this all together. Thank you very much, Brandon. We're super happy to have you as part of the team. Oh, there he is. He's wandering around somewhere. And then a special shout out, as always, to Christopher Wyant, who helps keep our committee on the straight and narrow. He keeps us focused. He keeps driving this event, and we couldn't do it without you, Chris, so thank you so much. Just from our standpoint, like I said, we're humbled to do this again. Please check out valleybluesox.com. Our season starts June 5th with a home game. We've got a great program of some of the best college players from all over the country are coming here again to defend our division title. So please check us out once you get to the spring, and we hope to see you all there. Without further ado, I'll announce our MC for the night, another Western Mass institution, Mr. Rich Tedemer.
I don't know if I should hold this or not. Can you hear me? Yeah. Here we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to a great night. We all love baseball, the 11th annual Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We have a great class of 2024 that we want to introduce you to tonight and to get to meet them and hear their stories. But what is it about baseball that we love so much? I know we always say it's America's pastime, but what is the draw that brings us back year after year and keeps us fans? It starts, I think, with our dads and our moms who teach us about the game and how we love that game so much. For me, I grew up outside of Philadelphia, and I grew up as a Phillies fan. And, sorry. Well, let's get it out in the open. How many Red Sox fans we have here tonight? See your hands. And how many Yankee fans we have here tonight? There you go. Well, Red Sox fans, you're going to have a tough season. I got news for you. It's not going to be easy. Yankee fans actually have something to look forward to, possibly. Like I said, though, I grew up as a Phillies fan, so that was my first love. What's cool is that both of my sons and my daughter are Phillies fans as well, so I got lucky that way. And there's a neat thing that happens when you're a kid, and that's what draws you to the game. It's one specific moment or one specific thing. And for me, it's funny too, because Bob Taylor is here tonight, and he was on the 1970 San Francisco Giants. And in 1970, he was on the team that season. In 1970, on August 2nd, I was a little kid. I was 8 years old. And I was watching, back then you didn't get a lot of TV games, remember? So you either had a game on a radio or on TV. This is, I believe it's a Sunday game. And it was the Phillies and the Giants at Connie Mack Stadium. And it went down to the bottom of the ninth inning. And Tony Taylor came up and hit a grand slam home run, a walk-off grand slam. And just to see his joy circling the bases, after that, it was like, it tied me to the game. I remember it specifically. That was like the moment that I felt, wow, this is a great game. This is a lot of fun. What was cool about that night was that my dad eventually took us to Connie Mack Stadium, which was the last game at Connie Mack Stadium in 1970. So we went to the final game, and I was going to be 8 turning 9, and what was neat was that when my son, my oldest son, was 9, I took him to the last game at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. So we actually had like a little tie-in there. It's kind of like turning the circle, so to speak. And also, I could also see him, the same kind of thing, where moments would happen and he would become a big fan. Both of my kids. I can specifically remember my youngest son, Rory, watching him watch us jump up and down when a big play happened or when a game was won. You could see it like turning in his head. Hey, this is kind of cool. I love this. What was cool about it is that, like I said, both my kids love baseball. They grew up in the Westfield Little League, went through Babe Ruth and Tri-County, actually played with DeFranco at Tri-County and played college baseball. And my youngest son actually wants to be what I wanted to be when I was a kid, which was a baseball play-by-play announcer. So my youngest son actually spent last season with the Tennessee Smokies in Tennessee, in Knoxville. And this year he's actually going to Kentucky to be a #1 play-by-play guy. So he's going to get a chance to, thank you very much. He's going to get a chance to actually do what I wanted to do way back when, to become a play-by-play announcer. So that's my story right now. Let's just talk about baseball for a second. There is something unique about the game. It happens in stadiums that hold 60,000 people, and it's also about the one-on-one competition between a pitcher on the mound and a batter in the batter's box. So they're by themselves. So you get thousands of people, millions of people watching on TV, but it comes down to that strategy that happens between a pitcher and a batter. And it doesn't matter if you're young or middle-aged, if you're short or tall, if you're fast or slow, you can play baseball. Not a lot of sports can say that. It's the sport for every man or woman these days. You can count women as well. There is no doubt about it that it's a sport that everyone can relate to. And it's also neat with the stadiums that are not only in Major League Baseball, but almost any ballpark that you go to. They're all different. I mean, the infield is the same, but anything can happen in the outfield. So whether you have the Green Monster at Fenway Park, or the short right field wall at Baker Bowl, or the ivy-covered walls at Wrigley Field, baseball has all these different places that are different. That's why people want to go and visit stadium after stadium all over the country. The game is passed on, as I said, from fathers and mothers to sons and daughters, and the history of the game is so rich as well, richer than any other sport. We're talking about Cy Young and Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and even the stars from Western Massachusetts like Rabbit Moranville and Leah DeRocher and Mike Trombley and Art Ditmar and Vic Raschi, guys who played from Western Massachusetts who made it to the big leagues. And of course, they'll be joined by players today like Jeff Reardon and Don Strange and Bob Taylor, all in part of the class of 2024. Baseball is timeless, and even with the pitch clock and the invention of the pitch clock, it's still timeless. They still have to get 27 outs, and the goal is always to get home, trying to get home. That's baseball, and that's why we love it so much. The Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame is proud to present the second annual Gary Brown Excellence in Media Award. Ron Chemelis served as the longtime sports columnist and reporter for the Springfield Republican. During his tenure with the paper, he served as the Red Sox beat reporter for several years, covering the 2004, 2007, and 2013 World Series victories. Ron was not only instrumental in the success of the Springfield Republican sports column, but he was a close friend and colleague of Gary Brown until his passing in 2022. The Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame is proud to welcome Ron Chemelis to the stage to accept the Gary Brown Excellence in Media Award. Ron?
Scott Barnes is not going.
Scott Barnes.
He's not going. All
Not that I'm aware of, no.
right. Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Okay. Let me put this here. Now, I will answer first the question that is on all of your minds. 6 minutes. I want to first of all thank the Joniacs, as I call them, the tables from St. Joan of Arc School and Chicopee, all the people there. In particular, my daughter, I'm going to hold this. My daughter Ashley and her partner Leah, who came all the way down from Middlebury College for this, knowing that they had to turn around almost immediately and go back. And my wife Laura, who is here in spirit. First of all, anyone who ever saw me actually play baseball as a kid will agree that including me in any conversation in any way about a baseball Hall of Fame in any capacity is like giving a driver's license to a blind man. When Mike Tremblay called me and said that I had been selected, he said it was a unanimous vote, leading me to wonder if maybe there was only one person in the room that that vote was taken. But seriously, I am flattered, I am humbled, and I do feel a little bit awkward because in accepting the Gary Brown Award, I'm being linked with someone who is incomparable. He was a friend, he was a legend. 2 years ago when he passed away, several people asked me if I would continue the tradition of his iconic column, Hitting to All Fields. But I wouldn't do it because you don't repaint the work of the master. Now, you may be expecting me to talk very briefly about myself, but I'd rather talk very briefly about you, the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame, because I was there, literally and physically, when it all began. I went to a few committee meetings, and my plan was to be part of the whole organization and the committee. Life got in the way, and that didn't happen, and I feel badly about that. It was unavoidable, but nonetheless. A lot of these concepts get floated around, and almost none of them get off the ground, and fewer still grow. And yet, this one has grown and flourished, got through COVID, got through the years to the event that's popular and prestigious, what we have tonight. And I think I know why. I covered the Red Sox for 15 years, and I am aware that I lived the dream of millions. I was in the clubhouse 15 minutes after the Red Sox broke the curse, won their first World Series in our lifetimes in 2004. And there were many other special moments in those 15 years as well. But I always felt, and I still feel, that my most important, significant, and meaningful years were when I covered high school and local college sports. For one thing, I could give exposure and attention to people who really wanted it. And that's not always the case with the pros. But moreover than that, I could spotlight and put a spotlight on not just the champions, not just the statistical leaders, not just the best teams and the superstars, but when the opportunity arose, I could give some attention to other people who are also deserving, who might otherwise be overlooked, taken for granted, or over time forgotten. And in my best years, my best days, I actually think I was pretty good at that. And so are you, the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame. We live at a time where we are more interconnected than we ever have been. You could call up tonight 100 stories on the Red Sox, the Patriots, Jason Tatum. They all say the same thing. 100 people saying the same thing. And yet, you can find oftentimes no stories about the person who may have devoted 45 years of his life teaching baseball to kids in the park. We have more media than we've ever had before, and we cover less than we've ever covered before. This organization, the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame, pushes back against that by recognizing not just the names that are probably more familiar to you, Jeff Reardon being the deserving person that we've heard about, but also other people who will be honored tonight who might be overlooked or taken for granted or over time forgotten. A former Springfield Giant and San Francisco Giant with the character, the resume, the backstory of Bob Taylor should not be forgotten. Don Strange, who had the second lowest ERA on a Durham staff that had 8 future major league pitchers, should not be forgotten. Mark Simeone should not be taken for granted just because he's been coaching for a long time. Earl Lorden should be more than just a name on the scoreboard of the field that bears his name. The Miracle League, the work they do, the value they have, it speaks for itself, but they need all of us to speak for them too. And the 1942 Turner's Falls team, I'd never heard that story until this event came along. And I consider myself a bit of a baseball and local sports historian, not like Gary, but nonetheless. And if I'd never heard it, I'd teach middle school. I got kids in my class, I'm not sure they're convinced 1942 was a real year.
Right.
So what you do is important, maybe more so now than it's ever been before, by recognizing not just the familiar and deserving people, but the other people who are also deserving, who might be overlooked, taken for granted, or over time forgotten. So in closing, as a recipient of an award named for someone I was privileged to consider a friend, I'm proud to be part of an organization through this award that stands for that. Because at heart, that's what I stand for too. And I say that with great confidence because I know, as we all know, that if Gary was here, he'd say the same thing. I'm flattered, I'm grateful, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nicely done. Very good. There you go. There you go. Ron, I thought you were a writer. You're a heck of an after-dinner speaker. Nicely done, and congratulations. And a well-deserved honor, too. And as you said, named after a great guy. Here's our next inductee. So many Western Mass baseball greats leave a lasting legacy due to their leadership in the dugout. Mark Simeone is no exception to that. Raised in Northampton, he stayed local in college, playing 4 years at Springfield College before embarking on an illustrious coaching career at American International College first and then Springfield College, where he enters his 28th season as head coach this spring. In fact, the season is underway. And just this past Sunday, he won his 500th career game. As Springfield College beat Westfield State. There you go. It was a doubleheader. It was a split doubleheader. But anyway, win number 500. He has won the New England Women and Men's Athletic Conference Coach of the Year honor 3 times. Please join me in welcoming Mark Simeone to the Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame. Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach. Good job.
Appreciate it. Let me just get prepared here for a second. Okay, firstly, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me to receive this prestigious honor. I extend my sincere congratulations to the Miracle League, Coach Lorden and his 1942 Turner's Falls championship team, and the other class of 2024 inductees, Jeff, Bob, Don, and Ron, for your outstanding careers in and through the game of baseball. I have spent 34 years of my adult life at Springfield College as a student athlete, a graduate assistant coach, and now faculty member and head coach. Our institutional mission at Springfield is to educate the whole person in spirit, mind, and body for leadership and service to humanity. I work with people who live our mission every day, and some are here tonight that I'd like to recognize. Dr. Craig Poisson, our athletic director, Kevin Wood, our associate athletic director, Ryan Cole, one of my former graduate assistants now working in institutional advancement. You know, Howie Davis is here. One of my colleagues, Richard Anderson, is here, who wrote a fantastic book about Bunny Talaferro, and his American Legion teammates. I appreciate you being here. I thank you for what you do for us at Springfield College, and thank you for being here this evening. Now for the most important people here with me this evening, members of my family. My mother, Flo, is a retired nurse of 40 years at Cooley Dickinson Hospital in Northampton and a lifelong role model for me. She lives her life putting others before herself. Mom, I love you, and thank you for being here with me. My father, Mario, passed away in October of 2022. He was a three-sport athlete in football, basketball, and baseball at Northampton High School and played the same three sports at Dean Junior College. He was my first coach. He was my lifetime coach. My passion for baseball comes from my father. I am very proud of the influence he has had on my career and my life. I know this would be a proud moment for him. My sister Carla, thank you for being here, and I love you. And certainly, last but not least, my oldest son Derek is here with me. I love you, Derek. I'm proud of you, and I'm very happy that you are here with me tonight. When informed about being selected to receive this honor, I was stunned, grateful, and overwhelmed. I've spent a lot of time over the past several weeks in deep states of reflection. I have realized, with the exception of 2 seasons in Canada and a couple in Connecticut while stretching my playing career to its limits in an over 30 league, every team I've played for and every team I've coached has been from Western Massachusetts. I also realized that when I was in this moment, I would be in a room with people who have been part of my baseball life and experiences from years ago to the present moment. And without those experiences with so many of you, I would not be making this speech tonight. In this room are role models and mentors, coaches that I have, and I will say this, is I was trying to be over-prepared. We're in season. I got to get on a bus tomorrow at 2:30. We're flying to Florida to play 7 games in 5 days. So I figured I'd be over-prepared than under-prepared. So in some cases, maybe not all these people are in this room, but I'm hoping some way through some kind of vibe they can feel my appreciation for them. Let me get to my spot here. So what I was saying is that some of these people are in this room. Role models and mentors, coaches that I have played for, coached with, and coached against. Teammates, opponents, my former players, and players that I have coached against. This is truly a wow moment for me. I'd like to recognize 2 support groups are represented here in the room tonight. To those who are in the sports communication, journalism, and media field, thank you for keeping and reporting the scores and writing the stories. You help make what we do in baseball important and relevant. I appreciate what you have done for me and the teams I have played for and coached for or coached over the years. To the umpires in the room, and I think there might be a few of them. Thank you. I have never played in or coached a game that counted without umpires. We may not always agree with each other, but I know we need each other. I'm grateful for what you do to allow for meaningful competition. And many times you are vividly remembered in reflections that I have with former teammates over a couple of adult beverages. To my role models and mentors, thank you for your guidance and for helping me learn and grow over the course of my career. And I will mention a few that are in the room. Coach Dan Delcinos, longtime coach of Chicopee Comprehensive High School. Coach, I had an opportunity to give you a big hug, and man, it felt good. And Coach and I go way back. with conversations, a tremendous teacher of the fundamentals of the game of baseball. I always learned talking to you, Coach, and appreciated everything you did for me over the years. And I'll tell you, when I first took over as the head coach at AIC, we know now in baseball where there's showcase events and all kinds of things that showcase talent. Well, in the early 1990s, Coach brought together many of the top players in Western Mass from high school and also American Legion Baseball and brought them to Zop Park, invited coaches to observe that showcase. And I know for a fact that that helped me learn how to recruit, learn how to evaluate talent. And through those events, Coach, I had players that played for me and were successful for me. So I thank you for the example you set and what you've done for me and all people in baseball in this area. Also, I want to recognize Rich Bedard. Rich Bedard, life given back to the game of baseball, former head coach at American International College, who moved to an administrative, high-ranking administrative role at American International College. And then when he retired, he put on a high school baseball uniform at East Longmeadow and helped Craig DeFranco coach the East Longmeadow High School baseball team. It's been a lifetime of giving back to the game, Rich. Thanks for all you've done in being a mentor and a role model for me. And also Mark DeFranco, I don't know if Bill Baffle, I haven't seen him, or Dan Welch. A few years back, they founded the Western Mass High School Baseball League. It was unheard of, right? There was no such thing, fall baseball. We played baseball in the spring and in the summer. Well, they developed a fall baseball league that I think started with about 4 to 6 teams and over years ended up with 30 teams in multiple states, oftentimes playing the All-Star game at Springfield College. And again, your league helped me recruit and many players that played in that league and on our field in that All-Star game. As a matter of fact, my starting shortstop played in that Western Mass Fall High School All-Star game a few years ago. So I thank Mark, Bill, and Dan for what they've done and given back to baseball over the years. So thank you. I have coached for 2 coaches in my career. First for legendary Amherst College coach Bill Thurston, and then for my former coach at Springfield College, Chuck Royce. I was hired in 1989 as an assistant by Coach Thurston and learned a tremendous amount about teaching and coaching the game over the 2 years I spent at Amherst. Coach Thurston loves the game, has a tremendous work ethic, and is a great competitor. And again, I'm going to speak to him as if he's in this room. He had a heart attack at the end of last summer. I had a chance to go over and visit him a few weeks ago and reminisce with him. It was a real special time for me. I thank you, 5, and I call him 5. That was his number. We all called him 5, for the opportunities that you provided me as a first-time college coach. You fueled my desire to go back to Springfield and pursue a master's degree and a career in college coaching. I served 2 years as a graduate assistant for Chuck Royce while obtaining my master's degree. Immediately following graduate school, I was hired as the head coach at American International College, where I spent 4 seasons before being hired as a faculty member and baseball coach back at Springfield, taking over for Coach Royce after his retirement. Chuck Royce was inducted into this Hall of Fame in 2022 and unfortunately passed away a few months later in July. I am extremely thankful for the opportunities Coach Royce provided me as a player and as his graduate assistant, and for the support he continued to give me as his successor at Springfield College. I am proud of the influence he has had and continues to have on my career as a teacher and as a coach. To the coaches in the room who I have played for, and there is one in the room that I have played for, and I'm thrilled he's here tonight, Coach Marty Gomez. Thank you for teaching me how to play the game the right way, for challenging me with a positive attitude and supporting me after the tough games. Your influence inspired me to pursue higher levels of play and, in turn, a career as a teacher-coach. To my former teammates, And I do. I hope I didn't miss any of my teammates that are in here. Kevin Erickson, Mike Conroy, and Fred Siago, all were teammates of mine at Springfield College. Thank you for being such good guys and great teammates. I loved competing with you and learned what being a good teammate was through our experiences on the diamond together. And I know when we always get together, it's enjoyable and the stories never get old. To my former players, thank you. For the last 36 years, 32 as a head coach, I have been privileged and honored to be able to teach life skills to emerging leaders through the game of baseball. Whether the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, or something in between, thank you for your baseball talents, for your effort, and for how you represented me, your teammates, in the uniform we wore together. I will always be grateful for how you have enriched my life through the game of baseball. I am proud of all of your accomplishments then and now, and look forward to seeing many more future successes. To my former assistant coaches, I know I mentioned Ryan Cole earlier as a former GA and now an employee at Springfield. I know Ben Volke is in the room as well. And if I'm missing any of my other former assistants, I'm sorry. But know that this statement is for you as well. Thank you for your dedication and your commitment to the program and our players. You played an instrumental role in planning and executing practice objectives and game strategy. You are on the front line in helping our players to never be satisfied in pursuit of getting better every day. I could not do my job without you. To those in the room who I have played or coached against, and I know there's guys out there as well who I've seen and spoken to this evening, thank you for being tough competitors and for providing the challenges that required us to be well prepared and to play well to win. I recognize and appreciate what so many of you have done for me over the years. You don't play or coach baseball by yourself. My experiences in the dugout and on the diamond with others have been tremendously meaningful and impactful to me. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I will forever cherish this honor and this evening. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach. And it's nice that you recognize umpires, coaches, players. No, umpires, they take a lot of you-know-what. But they do a great job, too. It is not an easy job. And they do the best they can. And a lot of times they're a lot better than we think they are. So congratulations, Coach, one more time. Surefire Hall of Famer. Our next Hall of Fame inductee celebrates an illustrious baseball career. Bob Taylor played 17 seasons of professional baseball from 1962 to 1978, including 4 seasons in Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball League. He played 1 season, as I mentioned before, with the San Francisco Giants in 1970. In fact, he hit 2 Major League home runs, one of them off Hall of Fame pitcher Don Sutton. How about that? He also played with the Springfield Giants back in 1965. That was the final year of Springfield's minor league team's existence. And he led the California League in hitting in 1964 when he batted .364. Following his playing career, Bob and his family relocated to Springfield, where they have lived ever since. In celebration of an illustrious and lengthy career, please join me in welcoming Bob Taylor to the Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Well, I'll tell you. I don't think I can talk that long. I'm gonna make my speech short, sweet, and snappy. That'll make everybody happy. Amen. First of all, I'd like to let you know that my family is here visiting from North Carolina for this honor, and I appreciate all of you guys for being here too. But like I said, I don't speak too long. As they used to say, I let my bat do the talking. First of all, I'd like to thank the Blue Sox and I hope they have a beautiful season this year. And I'm gonna be out there watching. And if you need a little coaching, I help out. Okay. First of all, I want to say good evening to everyone. My name is Bob Till, as you know. I want to thank the Western Mass Committee, Hall of Fame Committee for electing me to their Hall of Fame. Like I said, I don't do a lot of talking. I let the bat do the talking. I'm known for getting a lot of hits. They usually say, "Oh, you don't have too many stolen bases." I say, "I hit doubles." So if I hit doubles, I don't have to steal second. He sure won't let me steal third. So I said this, I always had a desire and dreams to play baseball, and I was told to stay strong and focused. Through the years, as I developed my skills, I was fortunate to play with Willie Mays, Warren Montreal, Willie McCovey, Gaylord Perry, and against Hank Aaron, Bob Gibson, Tom Severs, Joe Torre, Ernie Banks, Roberto Clemente. By staying positive and focused brought me this wonderful day with you all. And there is a saying by John Maxwell, dreams don't work unless you do so. Thank you very much.
Bob, you forgot your flower. I'm going to get back to you here.
It must be real hot.
The trophy's over here?
The trophy, yo.
Is this the trophy? Yes, it is. Hey, do you remember that game? Tony Taylor hitting that home run?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you had to remind him.
I know. It was only, what, 54 years ago?
Oh, really?
I know, it hurts. That hurts, you're right. All right, in 2020, the inaugural Ryan Doyle Courage Award was posthumously presented to Ryan Doyle, a standout athlete and compassionate young man who displayed unrelenting bravery in his battle with cancer. The Hall of Fame is thrilled to present the 2024 Ryan Doyle Courage Award to the Miracle League of Western Massachusetts. The Miracle League works to provide people with disabilities of all ages the chance to play baseball in a safe and inclusive environment. We now welcome Ryan Doyle's parents, Tim and Dee Doyle, to the stage for their remarks and presentation of this year's award to the Miracle League.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who's here tonight. Special thanks to Chris and Frank Wyant and Mike Trombley for starting this award for my son. We're very happy to hear his name here tonight. We're thrilled who they chose for this award tonight, mostly because of their inclusiveness, and that was the thing that, Ryan was very much inclusive to everybody that he loved. So I'm going to hand it over to his dad. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dee. I'd like to thank the Valley Blue Sox, Matt Jury for sponsoring this event, the entire Hall of Fame committee, all the inductees, Mike Trombley, the Wyants, Chris and Frank, and everybody else responsible for this event. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees who've been chosen this year. I was fortunate enough to have played with Donnie. Great competitor, and even more importantly, a great guy. I have some fond memories of riding to the games with Mr. Strange. And Donnie might have had the nastiest split finger fastball I ever seen in all my years of playing and coaching. I also had the privilege of getting to know Coach Simeone over 30 years ago when my brother Brian was playing at Amherst College. Not only an excellent player and coach, but possibly one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I don't think I'll ever anybody argue with me on that one. Congratulations to all who've been selected. You are very deserving of this honor. We especially like to thank you all for allowing us to honor Ryan. The Courage Award is named in honor of Ryan. Is very special to our family. Courage can take on many forms. Our past winners, Ryan, Trey Mancini, Jake Goodrow, Donna McLean, and this year's winners, the Miracle League, have all demonstrated courage in their own ways. When we think of Ryan, courage, strength, toughness, compassion for others come to mind. During his battle with osteosarcoma, a rare form of cancer that affects only about 4 people a year, there were countless examples of courage. Having his leg amputated as a 17-year-old in his prime is one. It didn't slow him down, though. He rolled and hopped around like it never happened. He also didn't let it affect his attitude or how he treated people. He always has a contagious smile on his face wherever the situation may be. Playing in high school rec league, Ryan would hop around, dive for loose balls on one leg, hitting layups and shooting threes, not wanting to be treated differently, just playing a game that he loves. You would never know he was fighting the toughest battle anyone could fight. Countless rounds of chemo and endless operations couldn't change Ryan. His genuine love of people and compassion for others is always evident. Whether it was in clinics, hospitals, or at home with his family and friends, his attitude never changed. The way Ryan fought his battle is an inspiration for others. Not feeling sorry for himself, but continuing to be his carefree self. And if Ryan helps inspire others during their battles, we want to continue to do so also. Spreading kindness and compassion to others. This is why the Miracle League, founded by Brian Feely, Tammy and Ernie Fetzel, Sue Ann Hilton, Paul McDonough, and Carrie Parsons, with help from Mike and Ashley Hogan, were chosen this year as the recipients of the Ryan Drew Doyle Courage Award. They allowed kids and young adults with disabilities to compete and have fun playing a game they love. These kids and young adults have the same spirit and courage and toughness as Ryan, fighting their battle every day, a battle only they know how hard it is. The Miracle League allows them to get out there on the field and maybe forget their troubles for a while, enjoying a game they love. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the Ryan Doyle Foundation, the Valley Blue Sox, the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame for this honor. Miracle League of Western Mass was the Miracle League of Western Mass was created by my wife so that every child can play the greatest game in the world, baseball. We always look for volunteers to help each child because they need someone out there to help them. They go out there with all the courage, heart, and determination to play whatever they want. They go and they put forth an effort like you have never seen before. Okay? I'd like to thank Dee and Tim for this honor as we accept this award on behalf of all our players, because they're the ones who actually deserve it. They're the ones who are going out there every day. They come out there, they bring their courage, determination to every week. The real thing, everyone says to us, thank you for everything you're doing for our son. Thank you for what you're doing for our family. It's not what we're doing for them. It's really what they're doing for us. It really is. Our commitment to this league is never ending. And in closing, I'm going to give you a saying. If I told you I started a baseball league, you'd say, hey, that's great. If I told you it was for children with disabilities who would normally not be able to play, you'd say, that's special. Well, I invite each and every one of you out on a Sunday morning out to Springfield College, where we play 8 in the spring and 6 in the fall, and come out and watch what these kids help us with. It's a miracle. These guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Coach Brian has the mic. Ron, 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
Right.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Feely, and I'm the proud president of the Miracle League of Western Massachusetts. First of all, I'd like to lead off with a number of thank yous. Did you guys hear the baseball analogy, lead off? First and foremost, we'd like to thank the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame Committee and Tim and Dee Doyle for this tremendous honor of selecting the Miracle League for the Ryan Doyle Courage Award. What a way to honor and remember the legacy, courage, and never say die attitude that Ryan brought to life on and off the field every day. To say that we see some of these same attributes every Sunday morning with our amazing athletes is certainly an understatement. The drive, the determination, and the heart that our players show are the center of why we do what we do. We are so humbled by this award, and it makes our team feel so good that we are being recognized in the community for making a difference in the life of so many children and young adults. I'd like to thank Tammy and Ernie Fitzell for creating this dream that has become bigger and bigger reality each year. We are so lucky you decided to take a chance 9 years ago on this thing called Miracle League. What a ride it's been. 2024 has been nothing short of amazing and record-breaking, and the best part, we haven't even gotten in the field yet. I'll get back to the record-breaking in a moment. I'd like to thank the entire team that's up here with me. Tammy, Ernie, Paul, Suanne, Carrie Parsons was unable to attend tonight. I was speaking with Tim and Chris earlier this week, and they asked me who would be accepting the award, and I told them the Miracle League team will be accepting this award. I present to you our team. What some folks don't know, but you'll probably, what you're going to learn right now, is that this organization is run by 6 individuals who work full-time jobs, have families, but yet we still have time and the passion to get up on the Sunday mornings and do all the prep work that we do every week. I know all the marketing folks can appreciate it. When we have to put our banners up and signs up, we gotta take them down at the end of the night. So there's a big process. Also joining me on stage is Mike and Ashley Hogan. Mike is the voice of the Miracle League. Yes, we do play-by-play at the field. Ashley is one of our volunteer coordinators. These folks are there every Sunday as well, organizing and welcoming volunteers to the field. and calling the shots that are hit over the outfield fence. We pride ourselves on being the complete baseball experience, from the PA announcer and the in-game music from Simeone the Sound Girl to the national anthem and Sweet Caroline at the end of the game with high fives. Lastly, but certainly not least, I want to thank our players, families, volunteers, and supporters. Without you, simply there is no Miracle League. Our players who put up with our coaches' shenanigans, our families who do most of the cheering of the players and heckling of the coaches, our volunteers and buddies who assist our players with batting, running the bases, and fielding, all while keeping them safe. Our supporters that show up at all of our fundraisers, sponsor events, and help us to continue to enhance our programming. I'd like to give you a glimpse as to where we have come from and where we are now. It all started in the summer of 2016. Anybody know the softball diamond across from Dean Tech? Yeah. That's where we started. Steadily we grew, and we made our way over to a world-class facility at Springfield College. We now have the home of the Asherman Family Field, where we play our games 16 Sundays each year. What a blessing to be able to utilize such a beautiful property. Now let's talk about the record-breaking I was referring to earlier. As our player account has grown every year since COVID, we started keeping track of how long it would take it to fill up 65 spots. Definitely an internal competition, but it shows you the impact it's making and word is getting out. Rewind to spring of 2023. Took us 2 weeks to fill up all 65 of our spots. We were thrilled. Fall, that record was 5 days. Fast forward to our registration for the upcoming spring season. Any guesses? 24 hours. And the other part is we have 27 kids on a wait list right now. Just like many other nonprofits, we struggle to get enough volunteers in order to get every child onto the field. That's why we end up capping them at 65. I know there's many coaches of different levels in this room. You might be a member of an organization or sports team, athletic director, National Honor Society advisor. We have a great opportunity to join us on Sunday mornings. It is truly life-changing for not only the players and the families, but everyone involved. I also want to mention that not only did a small group to my right help run the league, plan our games each week, but quietly over the 7 years, we have done something else. Through our annual golf tournament, with the help from the Holyoke Rotary and the CPI funds through the city of Holyoke, we were able to open up the Miracle League Playground for All at Kennedy Field. Again, 6 volunteers that are doing this. Not only is the Miracle League of Western Mass creating opportunities on the field, we wanted to find a place where all children could play. We were happy to cut the ribbon this past October, and I encourage you all to check it out. Again, thank you very much. Congrats to all the other award winners, inductees, and I'm going to leave you with this. One of the sayings that we've come and we actually had a new tent made, which I'm super excited about. The Miracle League is going to continue to put the all in baseball. Thank you very much.
Nice job, Brian, and congratulations to the Miracle League. You make a difference in so many people's lives, so many kids' lives, their parents as well. You do a fantastic job. And also to Tim and Dee for keeping Brian's legacy alive. Thank you. Our next Hall of Fame inductee is another well-known man for his credentialed coaching career. Earl Lorden served as head coach of UMass baseball from 1948 to 1966, winning 198 games in his tenure. He was inducted into the UMass Hall of Fame in 1982 and continuously is honored with his namesake of Earl Lorden Field, which was dedicated in his name in 1971. Accepting tonight's award on behalf of Earl Lorden is Turners Falls High School Athletic Director Adam Graves. Now, why would we have Adam accept Earl Lorden's award, right? Well, because Earl Lorden was also a head coach at Turners Falls first, before he went to UMass. In fact, in 1942, he coached Turners Falls to a state championship. Yes, that's right, 1942.
Hello.
Even older than Bob Taylor over there.
Just a tad.
Just a tad. But that Turners Falls team in 1942 won the state championship as they beat Arlington 5-4 at Fenway Park to capture the title. They went undefeated during the season to reach the championship game. And that championship came at a time when they weren't populated by the divisions. They were taking on all comers. So a very small school competed against schools that were much larger than them. The 1942 Turners Falls state champs. To share more about this great team, we now welcome Bill Tugnary to the stage. He has a special presentation to this Hall of Fame team, and the surviving member of the team is here as well. Bill?
Thank you. Good evening. It is an honor to be here tonight to be able to tell you an amazing story of 15 young men and their accomplishments on the baseball field and what they did after. On behalf of the team, we would like to thank Matt Drury and the Valley Blue Sox for this honor. Special thanks to Dan Genovese, Mark DeFranco, and David Bartley of the nomination committee, and the two guys that got this ball rolling, Dan O'Neill and Turners Falls' own John Demko. And congratulations to all the other inductees this evening. The 1942 Turners Falls baseball team had a remarkable season that captivated the community and left an indelible mark in the history of baseball in Franklin County. The legacy of this team extends beyond the state championship and what they accomplished on the baseball field. All 15 went off to serve their country during World War II, and they all came home. We have the one surviving team member with us here tonight, George Bush, seated at table 2 with the current members of the Turners Falls baseball team. We all know of Tom Brokaw's book, The Greatest Generation. If Tom had found this 1942 team, the chapter in the book would have gone something like this. Turners Falls is a blue-collar mill town, nicknamed Power Town. The group we are honoring tonight were all born in the mid-20s, grew up during the Depression, and in their childhood developed a love for baseball. In the 20s and 30s, Turners was a big baseball town, probably due to the mills and the league teams that sprung up in the area. Teams would draw large crowds to play at Unity Park on weekends, and fathers would take their sons along to watch this game. I can't see it, but hopefully there's a picture up there. This picture has two fathers who had sons on the 42 team. And if you're from Turners, you may know the man at the end of this picture. It's a man named Newt Gilball. He was the unofficial recreation director at Unity Park. He was responsible for getting equipment to the fields so youths could play baseball dawn to dusk. No parents, no coaches, no umpires. Just neighborhood kids against neighborhood kids playing baseball. Slippery Gap versus the Patch. The Hill versus 4th or 5th Street. You can hear the people from Turner's laughing because they know what I'm talking about. They would come and play and come back again the next day and do it all over again. Also in the mid-20s, Turner's Falls hired a coach named Earl Lorden. He would take the youth that came off this Unity Park field and do remarkable things with them. As this group moved into high school, Turner's was already producing some pretty powerful high school baseball teams. In fact, they were not the first Western Mass team to win a state championship. Anybody here from Palmer? Hint, hint? No? Okay. I know, really. Hint. As the clock turned toward the 41 and 42 school year, there was a feeling that this could be a pretty special team. Bunch of good athletes, not much power at the plate, but the team would field two of the best pitchers Western Massachusetts had ever seen, Walt Kostansky and Art Burke. And with the fundamentalist Coach Lorden at the helm, the prospects of another Western Mass championship seemed within reach. But halfway through the year, the world was turned upside down by the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. The day that will live in infamy changed everyone's lives. No one was sure if there would even be a baseball season in 1942. Gas rationing was put in place, and that threatened all spring sports due to transportation concerns. But Coach Lorden scrambled, put together a 9-game regular season. They win all 9 regular season games and enter the Western Mass playoffs. A 1-0 win against Amherst, followed by a come-from-behind 5-run in the top of the 9th to beat West Springfield, puts them in the Western Mass championship game against Springfield Classical High School. An 8-4 victory over Classicals sends Turner's to the state championship for the 3rd time in 6 years. Now remember, as Rich said, at this time there was only one state champion per sport. All schools, no matter of size, competed against each other. Turner's would match up against Arlington High School, a school 6 times its size, on June 20th, 1942, for the state championship. This would be David versus Goliath. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hoosiers before Hoosiers. But before they left for a game, they played a tune-up game against the Turner's Falls Athletic Club. And the gate was to be split to offset the costs. Now, I'm not sure if that would even be illegal today, but the AC players decided that the entire gate of $37.62 would go to the team. Now, is that slide up there that shows the batting average in the bottom right? Okay. Now, somebody did some math, and this team batted a whopping .239 for the season. It's hard to believe that you could go 13-0 with that kind of batting average. Where's Coach Simeone? Coach, could you go 13-0 with a team that batted .239? Be tough. But somebody did the math, and the opposing teams batted 153 against Turner's and the combination of Burke and Kostansky. So, Coach, now it's possible? Okay, there you go. So, it was off to Boston to face Arlington with a 15-1 record. The team travels by train, stays in a hotel night before a game, and then it's off to Fenway Park for a 3 o'clock start. This next slide shows the starters as they pose on the dugout steps of Fenway Park. And for those of you on this side of the room, over by Brandon, there's the same picture. Okay? Now, I've seen this picture since I was this big. We all know that the coach of this team is a legend. But in putting this speech together, I noticed one thing about the starters in this picture. Now, it's a little thing, but it's there. Now, you're all baseball people. This is a starting team for a state championship game. What's the one little thing in that picture that's off?
The bat boy?
No?
The bat boy?
No? Somebody, come on. Somebody, count them. How many are there? There's 10. So, Coach, what? Where did he hide the 10th guy in the field? That's what I want to know. How did he work that out? The game is set to begin. Starting pitcher Walt Kostanski walks to the mound and thinks to himself, this is where Babe Ruth pitched from. What happens over the next 2 hours is described by a Springfield sports reporter as the most thrilling final ever staged in the East-West baseball series. Turner's fans traveled to Fenway, and reports are they had more people in the stands than Arlington. They probably had more on top of the dugout also. Starting pitcher Kostanski is wild through the first 6 innings, but Turner's is keeping it close with great defensive plays, cutting down 3 Arlington runners at the plate, including this 1942 New England Sports Picture of the Year. And that's the second picture on the banner over next to Brand. Art Burke comes into relief and stops an Arlington rally in the 7th. Turner's is down 4-1 going into the bottom of the 8th, and things are not looking good. But Turner scores 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th to tie it up. And on the tying run, a double off the Green Monster by Ray Zukowski, the umpire walks by and comments, "Son, that was a major league hit." Things heat up in the Turner's dugout. For those of you that can see it, I'm not sure what this Coach Lorden signal is. Bring in the big reliever from the bullpen, and somebody's got to get the guy with the fedora back on top of the dugout. Art Burke continues his stellar relief against Arlington, getting them out 1-2-3 in the top of the 9th. And that sets the stage. Hollywood could not write a better finish. With 2 out, Burke steps to the plate, beats out an infield hit, and up steps catcher Hennick Welcome. 1 for 4 on the day, including hitting into 3 double plays in his last 3 at-bats. But Hennick hits the 2-0 pitch that makes it all the way to the right field wall. A Boston sports reporter calls it the shot that was heard around Massachusetts. Burke comes around from first, and Turner's Falls is your 1942 Massachusetts baseball champion. Bedlam occurs at home plate. A Turner's fan is there to greet him as an umpire is blocking other fans from trying to celebrate with Burke at home. Oh, it was a different time for this game of ours. The state championship trophy is presented, and you will note on the right side of this picture is a G. Bush, the one member of the team who is with us here tonight. A crowded train leaves North Station as the team heads back to Greenfield. But as the train stops in air, most of it empties as it is soldiers returning to Fort Devens. It is a sign of things to come for these 15 young men. The train pulls into Greenfield at 2 in the morning, and to the team's surprise, there are an estimated 1,000 fans there. A fire engine leads the procession back to Turner's. A parade is held 4 days later, and the town and Franklin County celebrate. But then it is back to business at hand. The clouds of war hung over everyone. Outfielder Paul Whitman commented, "We all knew we would be going in soon." Catcher Harvey Hennick Welcome was the first, enlisting in the U.S. Navy 10 days after that state championship game. All 15 served their country during the war. They were gunner's mates, seamen, firemen, signalmen, and corpsmen. They were in the infantry and the Army Air Corps. When the war ended, they put their uniforms aside and returned to civilian life. They were ordinary people who accomplished extraordinary things on and off the baseball field. They were the true heroes of their time. It is a well-deserved honor that this team and their coach be inducted into the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame. I would like the relatives and family members of the 15 who are here tonight to be recognized. When I call the players' names, will you please stand? And will you please hold your applause until all are standing? Utility players: George Bush, Jack Bassett, Ken Hilliard, Bill Martin, Everett Knepp. Outfielders: Ray Gump Sukowski, Mike Maluski, Paul Whitman. Third baseman: Ted Chucky Muha. Shortstop: Francis Tanny Boudreau. Second baseman: Edward Dicker Malesko. First baseman: John Slapper Togneri. Catcher: Harvey Hennick Welcome. Pitchers: Arthur Artie Burke and Walter Big Walt Kostansky. The relatives of the 1942 Turners Falls baseball team. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Brandon Seymour for the presentation of the award.
I'm George F. Bush.
Yeah, get it straight. That's right.
Not George H.W. or George W. Bush. And if there's no one here with 82 years ago, then what I've ever have to say, you'll have to believe me. I was on that team.
God bless you.
I think I can give you some of the memorable games that we had, especially in Western Mass tournament. We played Amherst first at Pratt Field. Amherst was undefeated. They were 12-0, and we were 9-0, and they were defending champions, and we beat them 1-0. Walter Kostansky pitched a tremendous game. Then we went on to the semifinals and played West Springfield. And West Springfield had a great team. They had a player on a team that later was in the Montreal organization for 13 years. His name was Walter Fiala. And we were behind 2-0 going into the 9th inning and scored 5 runs and won the game. And then the finals was at the Springfield Classical. That was an easy one. We won by 8-4. And now we went to the finals, and we played Arlington. And we were behind 4-0 going into the 7th inning. We scored 1 run, made it 4-1. And then in the bottom of the 8th, we got 3 runs to tie the score. And one of the fellers that played pinch hit that game, hit a double off the wall. Raymond Zukowski, his son, is here. And that tied the score. And then you know what happened in the ninth inning. When we're 2 out, Artie Burke Stegel, the score is tied. And then Hennick Welcome hits a line drive to center field that was about 30 feet away from the center fielder. And he tried to block the ball, but missed it. It rolled to the fence. We didn't know where it ended up because everybody was watching Artie Burke score the winning run. And that was the first state championship for Turner's Falls High School. But you all remember that the state baseball championship started in 1935. And as we told you before, there was only one division. From 1937 to 1942, Turner's Falls High School, with an enrollment just over 500, went to the state championship. In 1937, they beat Lynn English. I'm sorry. In 1937, they lost at Lynn English 5-4. Lynn English had a great catcher by the name of Jim Hagan, who was a great catcher for the Indians for many years. But we lost 5-4 in 12 innings. 1940, we played Belmont, and Belmont beat us 6-4. And in 1942, you know what happened.
You okay? Oh, I see. Yeah. No, hold on.
Congratulations to the 1942 Turner's Falls state champions. Now Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Famers. George, you're pretty amazing. I can't remember what happened last weekend, and you're remembering game scores from 1942. You know, we could use another George Bush in the White House. You got more on the ball than those other people that are running for president. I got news for you. Right. Age is not a factor. Here we go. Our next inductee enjoyed a successful career in professional baseball. Don Strange grew up in Springfield, playing college baseball at UMass from 1987 to 1989. Then he went on to play 8 seasons in the minor leagues, reaching that is AAA levels while playing with the Atlanta Braves and the Kansas City Royals organizations. He had 19 wins and 104 saves in 8 seasons in the minors. He now resides in Western Massachusetts and serves as a youth baseball coach in the community. And he joins his brother Pat, who is part of the class of 2021, as a Baseball Hall of Famer. Please welcome Don Strange to the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Good job. So to answer the question you all wanted to ask me, 68 seconds. Bob, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. All right. Well, Mike Trombley called me up a few weeks back or some weeks back and told me I was going to be inducted. I was very happy, very excited. A little bounce in my step ever since then. Very nice. I haven't played baseball in 27 years. It's like long past. I've been coaching for the last several years, and I enjoyed that. And I don't know, it came out of nowhere, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm glad to be here, and it's good to see so many baseball faces out here. I apologize I haven't prepared very much, but it's something about seeing guys you played baseball with or against in a crowd. It's like you catch your eye. Hey, how you doing? And I don't know. It's like a certain camaraderie between baseball players. So I love it. I wanted to give some props to my father, he's not feeling well. He gets taken out into the car. I think he's going to be okay. But well, Rich talked about baseball starting with your parents. My father was a firefighter, so he did his 40 hours doing that, and he worked as a laborer for a mason, another 30 hours a week. And he'd come home and he'd be sweaty and dusty and exhausted. You could tell he was exhausted. And just the same, he'd be out there in the front yard with me 3, 4, 5 times a week, catching me. Honestly, I mean, Todd Easel is my cousin. He's at my table with us, and he's the first one in the family to play pro ball, played for the Yankees. And I went to go see him when I was 19 years old, and I was like, eyes wide, and I saw that there's, you know, it's a possibility. And so I want to acknowledge him and his wife, Debbie. My sister-in-law, Raquel's over there, and my brother, Pat Strange, he was class of 21, and he's out in the car with my father. And my wife, Sarah, and my 3 sons, Bobby and Brayson and Andrew. I'm so happy that they can be here to see me get this award. So, a lot of people don't know me, but I was heavily recruited out of high school. Most of the best colleges in the country were after me. Hard throwing, you know, one of the hardest throwing guys ever come out of this place, out of Western Mass. I got a 4-year scholarship at the University of Miami. A lot of you guys know I'm bullshitting. I was going to say I got drafted in the 2nd round, and I turned down. The reality was I had a kind of a ho-hum high school career. I threw the ball pretty good, but I wasn't even an all-star in Western Mass. I walked on to UMass, played JV baseball my freshman year. And I got a little better as time went, and my senior year I developed a split finger fastball, and I was just so lucky to get it. I went from being kind of home to somebody who could pretty much strike out anybody. With that pitch, it was on that day, I don't care who was up there, I could get him out. So Paul Riccarini was a Brave scout back then. He asked to meet with me, and he wanted to sign me. I signed as a free agent, and he actually said this in the meeting. Since the other 4 starting pitchers all got drafted. There were 5 of us, so I was the lone guy who didn't get drafted. So you know what? Let's make it all 5 for 5. So, so I went to Pulaski, Virginia in 1989, my first year, and I had a pretty good year, and I could tell you stories about that place. A little creepy. I can't even talk about it. But anyways, so in the winter, we started working out with me and Mike Trombley. We started doing our winter workouts, which consisted of doing our workouts and then bowling 10 frames. Wilbraham 10 pin, 50 cents a pin, 50 cents a string. But he asked me, I remember him asking me when we were working out, he says, how long are you going to give yourself to play? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, you know, when are you going to retire if you're not making it? And I was like, oh, I don't know, I have to think about that. But in my mind, I was like, you're going to have to drag me out of there. I'm not giving up. So at the end of the day, I ended up playing 8 seasons. I played in 7 different leagues. I played rookie ball. I played 2 A-ball leagues, 3 AA leagues, 2 AAA leagues. I played Mexican Summer League. I played 2 winters in Mexico, 2 winters in Venezuela. And I had a long career. I had to kick and scratch to stay in there. You know, when you sign as a free agent, you got to produce here. You're not, you know, you're kind of there to fill a roster spot while the good guys are moving along to the big leagues. You know, so I got a lot out of it. You know, I had tons of experiences in the minor leagues. It's not a very glamorous thing. I could tell you some stories, and I'm not gonna. I have a few here, but I want to make this short. I did have a chance to play on the 1992 Greenville Braves team. It's one of the best teams of all time, minor league teams. We were 100 wins, 43 losses. I don't think anybody's touched that in the last 70 years. That's the most wins anybody. Put like 18 major leaguers off that team. I got to play with a lot of great players, including at least one Hall of Famer. I do want to give you one story from my minor league times. I was telling the guys earlier today. This is a true story. This really happened. So we're in Kingsport, Tennessee, 1989. My manager was Fred Koenig, old school. He had coached in the major leagues for 10 years. Unbelievable baseball knowledge, old school. And so it had rained before the game. We're playing against the Mets. It had rained before the game, and there's not a lot of time to get ready. So their team went out there and took infield. And when it came our turn, we went out there, and the groundskeeper, by the name of Lester, said, you guys can't do it. We don't have time. Of course, Fred was not hearing that. So he starts hitting ground balls, and Lester, he takes his rake, and he's raking down the third baseline like this. And Fred's not having that. We're doing our infield. He starts hitting ropes, really hard balls right by the guy. We're just missing him. Our third baseman's having trouble catching the ball. They're coming so fast. Finally, he hits him. He hits him in the back with a ball. He drilled him. This just really happened. Like, you're not going to believe this. So Lester gets mad. He charges Fred, our manager, and hits him in the head with a rake. Bald head. He got a gash on his head. Fred hits him in the head with a bat. Hit him in the head with a fungo. Boom! And then Lester reached for his back pocket. He had a tool for cleaning up the bases. So they'd stick in there good. And our catcher, Hutchinson was his name, took the thing, threw it away, and grabbed Lester. And then it got calmed down, and we thought it was over. So, they break it up, and so Fred starts to go hitting balls, and Lester starts raking down the line again. Says, you got to be kidding me. He gets about halfway down the line and goes, knocked out cold. Knocked out cold. They had to get an ambulance in there, get him out of there. And when he fell, somebody in the stands yelled, Lester! It was something. So somebody flashed a gun in the stands, and we had to go hide in the dugout until everybody was out of the park. Cops were there. That was a good one. That was a good one. It really happened. Unbelievable. Unbelievable story. There's other ones too, but I'm not going to get into them. Anyways, once again, thanks for having me here. Congratulations to all the inductees. You all deserve it. I'm proud of you all, and thanks for having me.
Good job, guys. Congratulations. Congratulations, Don. You made it. Your long journey leaves you here at the Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Our final inductee is the closer himself, a longtime Major League pitcher and a World Series champion from Dalton, Massachusetts. He pitched at UMass as well. Jeff Reardon pitched 16 seasons in the majors with 7 different teams. He was a 4-time All-Star and a 1987 World Series champion with the Minnesota Twins. In fact, he really made a name for himself with the Montreal Expos, then got traded to the Twins just in time to be on the mound in 1987 in Game 7 against the Cardinals. Got the last out of the game, and they all jumped on him, the first Twins title. Jeff Reardon also came to the Red Sox. You might remember this as well. In 1990, it was a spectacular finish to the 1990 season as the Red Sox won the American League Championship. With Jeff on the mound, Ozzie Guillen was at the plate for the White Sox. He hit a ball down the right field line that Tom Brunansky made an unbelievable catch. Caught the ball, disappeared from the camera view, and saved the whole thing right there. And Jeff Reardon was there once again celebrating a title. He would post a career ERA of .316. He had 367 career saves, and at one point, he was the all-time saves leader. How about that? Please join me in welcoming Jeff Reardon to the Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame.
Kind of hard to follow these guys that talk so much, but I'll do my best. I was a short man. I'm going to be a short man up here. Good. There you go. But I'd like to thank the Western Massachusetts Hall of Fame Committee for inducting me. It's a big honor to me, being from Dalton, Massachusetts, small town. You know, it's great to come from a small town because, you know, up here in Massachusetts, you don't get kids don't get discovered a lot. And they shouldn't give up hope on that, because I remember telling my mother when I was in Little League that I would someday make the big leagues and buy her a house. And I ended up doing it. I would also like to thank or congratulate all the other inductees here tonight. You know, it's a great honor. You know, when you get in the Hall of Fame, there's nothing better than that. It doesn't matter what kind of Hall of Fame there is. You know, and when you're up here, you got to thank a lot of people. Not like the one guy that talked for 20 minutes, but, you know. Oh, you know, I'm not getting on you, no. But I'd like to thank my family and all the people in the town of Dalton for all the support they gave me throughout my career. You know, and I'd also like to thank my family that came down, my sister Carol and her husband Jerry and their whole family that are here tonight. Thank you. I actually have a couple of teammates back there standing up. You know, hey. They came down from Dalton, Massachusetts. I'd like to thank them also. All right. But, you know, you gotta thank a lot of coaches, you know, and seeing this as a Western Mass Hall of Fame, of course I had many coaches, but I only want to thank the Western Mass people. Starting from my Little League coach, Tiny Zink, my Babe Ruth coach, Jim West. Then we went on to high school with Jim Rivers, who one coach was talking to me about coaching against Jim Rivers, Franny Reardon, Pete Simeone. They meant a lot to me. They really believed in me. And, you know, last of all, I'd like to thank two important ladies. My mom, my wife Phoebe. My mom was there all the way. She was there. She was my best friend. And then my wife, Phoebe, of 46 years, she was there all through the minor leagues. And she remembers hanging up bed sheets for curtains because I was making $500 a month. You know, she even had to get a job. But there's two other special people in my life. Another family member, Billy Ramsey. He took me to my first game when I was a little leaguer. And he actually played with Mark Belanger at Pittsfield High School, who's also in this Hall of Fame thing. And from that day on, my brother-in-law watched me pitch until I was 39 years old. And he meant the world to me. And of course, I got to thank my wife. 46 years married. Like I said, she was there hanging the curtains in the minor leagues and working as a waitress. But we didn't make much money, but she hung in there and everything worked out. So I just want to say thank you to all you people out here. You know, it was great to see all you people, and I am very proud to be part of this Hall of Fame. Thank you.
The Terminator closes it out. We have a special, you know, it's from Brian Ash. Let's come up with the proclamation first before we take our class photo because we're getting late here. So Brian Ash, our state representative, is coming to the stage for a special presentation. He represents the 2nd Hamden District. Brian?
Thank you, Rich.
First, thanks to Blue Sox for putting this on, for everything you do. Thanks to everybody here at Twin Hills, too, for an incredible night. And really, how about a big hand for Rich Teddemer? He is absolutely incredible. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he should be. Right? He told me he wants to be in the Hall of Fame anyway. It really is my pleasure and honor to be here and be able to recognize all the inductees. I know we've had quite a few speakers. I'll try to be short like Bob. I'm already short like you. Like that? And you're a snappy dresser, too. And I know you probably got your bat, so I won't say anything. First, I just wanted to say a couple quick words about the award winners. First, Ron Chamelis. Ron, Gary Brown obviously was a legend, and everybody knows him, but you're no slouch yourself, my friend. So, well-deserved award. I'm thrilled to see you get it. Congratulations. The Miracle League of Western Mass. I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about you, and learning what you do, it touches my heart. It really is incredible, and it just shows that the game of baseball is so much bigger than just the players or the things we talk about. The inclusivity that you have is remarkable. And to be able to do it with Tim and Dee here to remember their son is absolutely incredible. I've had the pleasure of getting to know them over the past few years. I went to school with Chris Doyle, and I know Sean. And their family is absolutely incredible, and to be able to continue this, to have something extremely positive come out of it is absolutely remarkable, and I thank you and congratulations to you. You can clap for that. Yeah. The Turner Falls baseball team, what a remarkable story that was. Not only the baseball part of it, but then going off to World War II, and honestly, to say I've met George Bush, the best of the George Bushes, that's pretty cool right there. You got my vote any day. And for our other inductees, first Earl obviously passed away, but again, congratulations Earl and the entire team. Don Strange. Don, I don't know you, but I like your style. I'm probably the most recruited state rep in all of Massachusetts. I'm just going to take it right out of your playbook. But I try to think of some commonality, something I have in common. I don't know you, but I do have Pat's rookie card. It was a green Topps card, a dual card with somebody else on it. That's about all my connection there, sorry. But it was good, but I appreciate everything you've done. And to have a family put out that kind of talent is absolutely incredible. Congratulations. Bob Taylor. Again, I wasn't able to watch, I remember my father used to tell me about the Springfield Giants growing up, and it reminded me, that's what kind of got me into baseball, very similar to Rich. I loved playing, and I loved hearing the history of the game. And just to hear, the list of players you mentioned there, that's
was short, really.
Roberto Clemente, Willie May,
That was short.
As are we, my friend, as are we.
I didn't put Ron Santo on there, Jim, Billy Williams, and all that. Those guys. The Lou brothers.
Yeah, Moises, man, yeah.
That's why I stayed in the mountains so long, because of all
We'll finish this after that. But congratulations, it really brought me back when he was talking about youth. I love the game, something about the game of the baseball. The crack of the bat, when you feel the ball pop in your glove, when you make that perfect throw on a line. And then, like Rich, I remember I coached my son in baseball, I coached my daughter. It's just so cool to see him getting involved in every aspect of it. And then being able to be a part of this is really incredible, because it's not just about the players that made it. It's about everything else up along the way. It's about the coaches, about the contributors, about everybody, regardless if you made it to the majors, the minors, wherever you were part of it. And it's all together that makes this game so great. And Coach Simeone, I don't know you either. But here's the connection. Where are you? Oh, there. My daughter went to Springfield College, played field hockey and ice hockey, and I went to Westfield State, so I was glad to hear that you split in a doubleheader. And now I'm going to parlay that and move it right over to Westfield State. One of my good friends, Wayne Dobrutsky, his uncle, I believe your mother worked for his uncle at B's Restaurant. in Pittsfield. How about that for a transition? That's a segue, my friends. And to have you here as well is absolutely incredible. I've been blessed to be able to come to a few of these now and meet some players that I idolized watching, and watching you and knowing your history, the Rolaids relief man, saves leader in the NL, 4 All-Star appearances, winning the World Series, and to me the best part being with the Red Sox was absolutely incredible. And to be joined with this great group of people here is absolutely phenomenal, and just shows out of Western Mass we absolutely have some incredible talent here, from the ones that make it to the majors to everybody else in between. So I have some citations I want to present to all the winners here, but to thank you all for coming, because this is a difficult thing to put on, because every year it's a whole new cast of people you have to invite in and hope everybody fills up. But every year the room is filled. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. And I don't know how you want me to do this now. If anybody has any tell you what I'll do. So I'm not going to read all 9 citations because they pretty much say the same thing. So what I will do is I will read one of them and know that they're for all of you. Not all of you, just the winners. Frank and Chris, I got to mention Frank and Chris too. Frank Wyant I've known since I was a little kid, been great friends, and obviously Chris I've gotten to know, well, since Frank and Jane had him. So, but they did a remarkable job, and they invited me to one in South Hadley a few years back. I don't know why it was in South Hadley. But now that it's in Long Meadow, I'm so proud to be part of it, and I'm so proud of everything you guys have done, so thank you. He'd kill me if I didn't say that. All right, so here, I'll just be right. I'll even try to be hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to you. In recognition of your unbelievable commitment to the game of baseball and being a part of the induction into the 2024 Western Mass Baseball Hall of Fame. The entire membership extends its very best wishes, the hope for future good fortune, continued success in all your endeavors. Signed by the Speaker of the House, Ron Mariano, and by me, State Rep Brian Ash. I've done a few of these, as you can probably tell. But it's my honor. I also have some letters to the families of the players from the 1942 Turner's Fall teams. Thank you all. God bless. Appreciate it.
So you want to wrap it up first, then bring the picture? Okay. So now we're going to have the class photo. I know it's getting late, so we want to have all of our new inductees in the class of 2024 come up here for a quick class photo, please. Okay, as we take pictures, just to let you know what a game baseball is, it brings us all together, and we laugh, and we cry, and we have great memories. And this is certainly one of those as well, the class of 2024. This includes our induction ceremony. On behalf of the Valley Blue Sox and the Western Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame Committee, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We hope to see you at Mackenzie Stadium on Wednesday, June 5th for the Blue Sox home opener, and of course next year for the 2025 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Take care and drive home safely. The class of 2024.
Feel alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back row. All I really take is a little taste. Island girl, blue eyes with a little bass. Here for the thrill, I don't need a chaser. Wanna vibe at the getaway. Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, I got the semi-4 weight. Don't step out the line like this a probate. You hit the line and try to locate. This for the time, got time for no day. One, too many, I'm going. Too crazy and I got bad ones and they ready. A good time, so now it's